Wait a minute, from this angle I think I actually recognize this island. Now that I'm looking at it, I think I know what that island actually is. What's up, agents? Zero here, welcome back to some more Mega Skyblock 5. That's right, I haven't actually forgotten about this series by any means whatsoever. I've been wanting to go ahead and get started back on this world as soon as possible. Well, obviously things kind of late. Anyway, this is episode 7. If you remember, last time we went ahead and put together a mob run. As you can tell, it's all the way over there, and you may notice that there are a few extra bits and pieces that we're not there in the end of the last episode, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what those are. Let me go ahead and quickly gather up all these saplings before I head over there, because I did do some tree farming. Obviously, it's kind of one of the things I like to do in between episodes in order to go ahead and keep my resources up. So as you can tell, I actually have myself a few chests set up for me to go ahead and use this skeleton farm. I've got a chest right here full of stone swords, because I figured that, well, considering the fact that I don't really have easy access to any resource other than wood and stone, I figure stone is probably the best resource for me going to use for the swords, obviously. And then we got ourselves 4 different chests for 4 different types of drops for the skeletons. And apparently, and I can't actually confirm or deny this, but it's been happening to me for whatever reason. Apparently there seems to be a bug in 1.7 where old worlds, whether it be like old generation from a normal survival world or just an old world in general, for whatever reason, skeletons don't seem to be able to drop bones quite as frequently as they're supposed to. I did some testing. I made sure to do some testing on a single player world to make sure that they're dropping bones at a normal rate, and they are. So I don't understand why, specifically on this world, why they're not dropping bones quite as frequently as I'd like to expect. Anyway, that's kind of like besides the point. Anyway, for this episode, what I'm planning on doing is going ahead and continuing our quest to go ahead and explore the remainder of the islands. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of more episodes in order to go ahead and be able to do that, because we've still got a ton of islands left to explore. And before we go ahead and get started doing that, I do have a couple of anvil things that I want to go ahead and do before we get started. So first off, I actually have in this chest, I have a Luck of the Sea 2 Lure 2 Unbreaking 3 fishing rod that I actually want to go ahead and take my current fishing rod and combine these two to be able to upgrade up. Yes, I did just stand you up on what you're saying. Alright, you're kind of in the way of the anvil, things considered. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and put these inside of it, and it takes 15 XP, which is a good thing that I have the actual XP farm in order to use this. So now I've got the best possible fishing rod that I can get, which is not too bad. Now I can actually go ahead and catch stuff a lot more easily. And the other thing that I want to go ahead and do before I go ahead and get started is I actually, in between episodes, obviously in between episodes was several weeks, I understand as much, but I actually went ahead and got myself a couple of name tags. I want to go ahead and use one, because as you guys are probably aware, this little guy's name is Salt, and I want to go ahead and actually properly name this guy, which is the reason why I'm taking out this name tag. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to have to use my on-screen keyboard in order to do this. So let's go ahead and type in Salt. There we go. And let's go ahead and pull this out. And now we can go ahead and properly name our bird. There we go. We have ourselves our bird Salt. Obviously, we already had his name, but now he's properly named, which is kind of nice, all things considered. Anyway, I've wasted enough time. I'm looking at my timer. I've got like 5 minutes that have already passed by, so let's not waste any further time and go ahead and get started with this episode. One thing I should probably go ahead and do, take half of my food and go ahead and put it in here, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was sworn, maybe not, I probably already took it out, so I'm assuming it's going in. Do I have, yes, I do have a stack of, slabs that I've already, started. Okay. So, as I already said, we're going to be exploring some more islands in this episode, and the first island I actually want to go ahead and make my way to. Actually, I'm going to be heading to several islands in this episode, which really not too big of a surprise. I literally just watched a sheep fall off of the edge. He's gone now, but I literally just watched him. And I'll make sure to have a zoom in on him when I'm editing this video so you guys see what exactly I'm talking about. You guys might have seen it already regardless, but yeah. So we're going to be going off in this general direction to a few of these islands. And I actually don't know what some of these islands are. Now, this island right here and this island right here, these two islands, I know exactly what they are because they were in previous seasons of Mega Skyblock. However, the one directly in the middle and further back, I actually have no clue what that island is. I mean, I said it in previous episodes, I did technically help TGC and some of my friends put together this particular version of the map. I will admit to that much, but I don't fully remember absolutely everything. Okay, so there's a chest down here. I actually completely forgot about this chest, and I did not mean to do that. Let's go ahead and pick that up. I'm probably not going to get that back. Let's go ahead and open. Okay, so we got ourselves a few cobwebs, a few bits of redstone, and a cake, so not too bad. So let's go ahead and head home and go ahead and put this stuff away just for safekeeping. Because then that way, I know for a fact I'm not going to lose this stuff. Alright, so let's go ahead and put in cobwebs, redstone in there, and put the cake in here. There we go. Alright. So let's go ahead and start making our way over to these islands off in the direction I technically already said we were going in. It was really wordy, admittedly, but let's go ahead and go with it. I'm not going to edit it out anyway. Alright. So let's go ahead and place down slab right there. And go ahead and extend this out a little bit like that. So now we're going to make our way, as I already said, over in that general direction. So we're most likely going to be able to see some pretty interesting stuff because obviously we've got ourselves the island that I have not seen before, which is again it's that island over there in the center of the other two islands. So we're going to see exactly what this island is. Hopefully in this episode, no guarantees, but I've got my fingers crossed admittedly because I like seeing the new islands in this particular version of the game because it's actually kind of nice to see new projects. Again, I did say, not only in this episode, but in other episodes that I did help with part of the project for this particular version of the map, but that doesn't necessarily mean I actually remember absolutely everything. There are certain islands that I do remember, but there's a lot of them that I'm not even familiar with. Alright, so let's see. Looks like we need to go a little bit further, and looks like we are parrot descending into the void. Poor parrot. Again, he is coming from that island, so it makes sense as to his location. But it's still pretty unfortunate, all things considered. I am not gonna lie. Alright, so let's see. Further out, okay. And if I'm not mistaken, this particular island actually has a chest for me to go ahead and empty out, which not too bad, all things considered. So let's see, further out, okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up this bridge, which hopefully shouldn't take too long. And now I'm thinking about it, I don't know why I'm extending the bridge out 3 wide already. Normally when I go ahead and make these bridges, I only make them 1 wide and then I extend them out in between episodes just to make things go a little bit easier on me. And there seems to be way too many mobs on this island because they seem to be all falling off for whatever reason, probably because they're pushing each other off. Alright, let's go ahead and finish this bridge. And, okay, you hear water flowing, you feel relaxed. Okay, so we did just make it to the island, obviously. So let's go ahead and extend the platform off just a little bit, not too much, just getting things a little bit stirred. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, there's a chest right here. So let's go ahead and see for yourselves. An emerald, some cobwebs, and a name tag. So I will have gotten a name tag even if I hadn't got them in between episodes. And I actually technically got them as well, which is no surprise to most of you guys watching my channel, through fishing. And apparently there seems to be some sort of bug causing it to go completely pitch black underwater, which doesn't make any sense. And there's also a drowned in here. How would that, probably because of a zombie, I'm assuming. Alright, I definitely don't, well, I definitely want to get rid of this drown because that would be super beneficial. And I think there's a couple of seahorses down in this water as well. I can't actually make good use of actually seeing them. And I do, as I said, I want these lily pads because I want to go ahead and use these to be able to patch up one of the islands that is en route to another island. That makes no sense the way I word that, but I want to make sure that I have a solid path to walk across, and having lily pads definitely helps that out in that regard. Definitely should probably be using a sword on this guy. That'd probably be smart, all things considered. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and head back home, get myself a sword. Actually, you know what? I think I'm probably just going to go ahead and ignore that guy for right now and start heading off towards a couple more islands, because that would probably be most beneficial if I actually go ahead and make a little bit more progress rather than spending time trying to get rid of a particular mob. That will probably be the smartest thing, all things considered. Alright, so let's go ahead and make our way over to this island from us right here. This is a cave island for those of you who saw previous seasons of Mega Skyblock. This island should look very familiar because I've seen this pretty much since the first episode. Well, not the first episode of the first season, but technically the first season, all things considered. So I know for a fact there's going to be some pretty useful things on this particular island. I know that for a fact. And I'm also looking down in my hotbar. I don't think I have enough slabs to go ahead and make my way to any further islands. That really a huge deal. I have plenty of slabs back at home, so that's at least good. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish off this bridge. And yeah, I can already see right off the bat there are quite a few islands, not islands, ores that we can go ahead and make use of. I'm not going to go ahead and get those right away. I'm going to go ahead, make my way back home, and I'm actually relatively close to this island. And wait a minute, from this angle I think I actually recognize this island. Now that I'm looking at it, I think I know what that island actually is. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead, make my way back home. I'm going to go ahead and get more slabs, and we're going to make our way over to that island off in the distance. And I think if what I'm thinking about that particular island is, it's actually a rather cool island. I'm actually really happy with the way this particular island turned out, all things considered. I am not going to lie. Okay, something I completely forgot to do while I was in this particular island, and I actually forgot to do the exact same thing when I was over at that island, is go ahead and light the place up with torches. And apparently there's already one torch on the inside, which I actually didn't even notice the first time coming in here, but at least it was partially lit up when I first got here, so that's at least good. But now I am trying to make sure the rest of the outside of this place is lit up so that mobs are unable to spawn, at least on the outside, which is definitely going to help out in the long run. At least that's my whole point of doing it. But yeah, so now we need to make our way over to that island up there. I went ahead and got myself some staircases and some regular planks, because apparently, and I don't know whether or not Mojang has fixed this or not, but I'm not willing to risk wasting blocks, is that I'm pretty sure that there's still the bug where slabs will automatically default to the bottom of a staircase when using the tactic, this tactic right here, which is technically exclusive to Bedrock Edition players, just looking straight down and placing on the edge, which I guess I don't understand why the slabs have that behavior, but you know what, it's whatever. So let's go ahead and push a bridge over to this island, and if this is the island that I'm thinking it is, then this is actually a pretty cool island, all things considered. And yeah, it looks like it's the island I'm thinking of right here. So let's go ahead, let me go ahead and show you guys what this actually does. Hopefully it actually still works. I'm hoping, because if not, then it's a bit unfortunate and there's not really a whole heck of a lot I can do other than going into creative mode and fixing a few things, which is something I don't want to have to do. But let's go ahead and see if it actually still works. Yep, it does in fact still work. So what this is supposed to be is like some sort of sawmill where you're trying to actually go ahead and cut the logs down. There's actually a rather cool little feature, all things considered, done using command blocks in redstone, obviously. Really nice detail, all things considered. So it's really nice the fact that we have it. Let's see, are there any other islands I could make my way to? I suppose I could make my way over to that island over there, which I guess wouldn't be a bad idea. So let's go ahead and start a bridge over there. And if I remember correctly, I think I know exactly what's on this particular island from, again, helping TGC and my friends put together some of the islands on this particular version of the map. And actually, before I forget, because it is starting to become nighttime, I probably ought to go ahead, go home, and get some sleep so that things are not going to spawn quite as easily. Yeah, let's go ahead and light this place up so nothing can spawn up here. That would be very beneficial. Okay, so I'm going to go home, go to sleep, and I'll be back, and hopefully by that time I will be up at that island over there. Alright, we are just about making our way over to this brand new island, and I am now noticing that apparently I am not quite high enough in order to reach this island. Not really a huge deal. I have plenty of materials to make my way over there. So here we are. We're actually at this new island, and yeah, this apparently looks like the island that I thought was from a distance. And this is kind of a really weird island, all things considered. So one of the people who I helped put this map together with, obviously TGC, but the other person is by a name of Booberry, and she apparently has a thing for pufferfish for whatever reason. I'm not gonna actually question it, but yeah, so we got ourselves a bunch of stuff inside of this island, inside these chests, so not too bad, all things. Actually, okay, so there are two of them. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick up all this stuff. We got ourselves some spawn eggs, some pufferfish spawn eggs apparently, and oh, I don't like the title of this book whatsoever. Obviously, it doesn't actually say anything necessarily bad, but you guys can see what it's supposed to be. Alright, coarse dirt. We got ourselves a little bit of coarse dirt, which we can go ahead and, if I'm not mistaken, turn that into regular dirt for us to go ahead and make a proper farm of, which is something I haven't actually done on this world just yet is actually make a proper farm. I probably ought to do that before too long. But other than that, this is actually where I'm going to go ahead and end off the video. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure that like button. One more than make sure that subscribe button for future content. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at AgentCP0 to stay updated. This has been Zero Studios. Thank you guys for watching. And with that, I'll see you guys later.